To store her supply of fake craft flowers, my wife has come up with an idea to put them in a rack. And this is just a leftover rack from one of those metal wire mesh cube things. And so each flower will drop down in. And so this will store a tremendous number in a very tight contained place. They'll all be straight up and down. They won't get crushed. But obviously it needs a stand to hold it off the ground. So what I've come up with is parts from this old crib. Now this is one of those cribs that's been recalled because it somehow, kills children. So I've got it laying around here, and like so many things in my shop, I just been keeping it because maybe someday it'll be useful. I think it finally has been useful. So I have the shorter drop side, and then of course the longer main crib side. And what I'm going to do is make an L shape that the wire mesh can sit on top of, so the flowers can sit inside. Now it just so happens that the cube is 14 inches long, which is going to fit perfectly, lining up basically in the center between one of these two. So that'll work just fine. So now what I need to do is cut a piece 14 inches long and then a piece 15 inches long, and that is because you want to overlap on the corner. Obviously you have to screw it together, and that'll keep both sides even in the same length. It'll make sense in a bit. Getting this to cut properly could be exciting. So there's the first side. Now we just need to cut the second. Remember, the second one has to be longer by the thickness of whatever wood you're using. And you could do this out of plywood. But whatever wood you're using, it has to be longer, one side, by the thickness. So there I have my two pieces. One of which is 7/8 of an inch longer, 3/4, so that when I screw them together, like so, the entire rack is still the proper size, and it both runs, that is the distance between this point and this point are both the same length. If I had cut these two the same size, then one side would be shorter than the other because you lose this distance right here. So anyways, now it's just a matter of screwing them together. Now when it comes time to put these together, I'm going to take advantage of a design feature of the crib itself. You'll see that there is a pocket right there for a 1/4 inch screw. Now this was something to do with when the cribs were screwed together from the factory. So rather than drilling and countersinking with a wood screw, which is what I would traditionally do right here, that is to say, simply drill through from one end to the other with, this is a countersink, so it bores a hole for the screw itself so the wood doesn't split, and it bores a wider hole flare at the top so the head of your screw sits flush or recessed. Rather than screwing them together like that, I'm going to go ahead and use this. So what I need to do is mark this hole and this hole the proper distance, and then drill them out with one drill size larger than 1/4 inch. So there they are marked. Now it's just a matter of drilling them out. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on the drill press, though once again you could do this by hand and it would be just fine. they are. I drilled it oversized because I don't want to futz around with getting them precise. So clearly I missed that one slightly. Having this big divot in here does not help your accuracy. I should have put a flat board on top, but whatever, it'll be fine. Now what I want to do is countersink one of these sides to recess the head of whatever bolt I'm going to use. Okay, this is called a Forstner bit. It looks kind of like that on the inside. It cuts a nice smooth edge around the outside, giving you a clean hole, and then these scraper blades hog out the center section. And I just picked one that was large enough to recess the head of the bolt I want to use. This step is unnecessary, but I think it adds a nice touch. So that will get my bolt heads recessed nice down deep inside. So all you got to do at this point is screw it together. Well, there it is, all bolted together. With a little stain wiped on all your fresh cuts, no one will even notice that it used to be something else. You can't even really see the difference, except that this line and that line don't line up. Well, that's just because I drilled the holes. That's why I drilled my recessed holes on the wrong side, but oh well. So now it's simply a matter of attaching the grate. Because you took the time to make sure that one of them was longer by the thickness of the other, the grate should match perfectly from side to side. So I dug through my drawers and I found these. And these are old style. They're not storm window clips. What are they? Sorry, they're window screen clips. And these would screw on the outside of your window, and then you drop your window screen in there. If you can't find these, and I'd be surprised if you can, you could really use anything. You could use a little block of wood that the rack sits on top of. You could use big washers on some screw heads, some wire loom clips, really pretty much anything. And so the way these are going to work is the same way the old window screens used to work, is they will drop in like that and cradle them. So I just got to do the other side. And there we are, all done. You can see I've simply bent the clips over, encapturing the wire rack, nice and sturdy. So you can envision it sitting in the corner of a room full of flowers. That ought to work well. She should be pleased. So the flowers just stand up in the rack, and then everything stays nice and straight, and then when she's done, the rack can be slid back into the back corner, and this keeps the leaves and the blossoms from being quite so crushed together, and it'll hold a tremendous amount of material.